Sorry, dudes. Of course, the old crumbly bumbly hanging out here. B's gonna be a couple minutes. Of course, it's Thanksgiving and all, but they are gonna be here. But here I had this like snazzy shortcut all made up here to be able to Control S. And what did Control S do? I went to open up a file, and so I don't even know where I went for a moment there. We're lucky we're even still here. That being all said, 8-Bit Mike, what's going on? Watch us from the old television series there. Dylan Clement, what's going on? Zymut Co. How are you, homie? I don't know how you managed to watch this, feed deer, feed pigs, take care of the fucking largest arcade in New York, and cast more than a bajillion pieces in the entire universe. Bootleg Toyko, what is going on? I was actually creeping your page earlier as well, man. You know, honestly, I kind of forgot what a fucking fantastic painter you are on top of sculptor. Holy shit, dude. And your hair. Your hair. So jealous. Acid 9 Toys, what is going on, my dude? I promise, homie, I have not forgotten. I still have that box sitting there, but there are some that have gone out into the world. We will make sure that those make it out for some giveaways there, but everything's set aside. I promise. I promise you. Fucked toys. What is going on? I want to see some of those fucked lasers. Fucked lasers chopping up some happy turkey. Stormico Station. What is going on? Yo ho. What is going on, guys? Jazz Wizard. Looking handsome. I won't lie. I was just wearing a crummy old sweater earlier, but I knew I was doing Toys Day, so I got all dolled up for you. Folklorian, how are you, man? Yo, I don't know how I hadn't seen those fucking resin oh my goodness, why is it blanking on me right now? The fly that you ended up getting there from Resin Blood. Holy shit. Carolina Cool Cat, congratulations, by the way, my dude. If you haven't seen everybody, Carolina Cool Cat actually ended up doing a drop this past week. They ended up selling out of those fucking five bad boys in no time. Bliss Receptor, I was creeping your page actually earlier too, man. That fucking winged bad boy with the yellow little piece, that nice little touch of the yellow there. Recycle Galaxy, what is going on? Garten Noir Toys, what is up? I will admit, that is a new one for me, homie. I am very, very sorry if you're actually a familiar face and I am just a blind bat. There's a reason that the old Crumbly Bumbly is sometimes a nickname. Now, while we're waiting for B there, I'll admit, guys, I have no idea really what tonight's show is going to be, so I've packed us with a whole bunch of news. Now, I'm sure a bunch of you guys have actually already seen this, but Pocket Salsa actually brought up a great post that got me thinking of something that like we don't really chat about. I'm sure we actually have chatted about it 1,000 fucking billion times, but we don't really chat about it too much. And that's actually this guy here. The amount of replies in the chat or in the giveaway comments this week that we're actually talking about doing a vinyl. And this post in particular caught my attention because, of course, they're talking about should I do a Kickstarter to help fund this production? What kind of rewards would you guys like to see for different tiers? The lowest tier being a blank figure and the highest tier being a painted figure and the artist proof and a resin prototype. What would the mid tier be? But this even brings up a great point with everybody wanting to do all these Safubi drops in the upcoming year. Obviously, those initial molds do actually cost quite a bit. It can be quite the initial investment. And this is a great way of looking at it with the Kickstarter and doing it that way. And of course, I've got the Garden State Kaiju one. I'm going to pull that up afterwards as well. But that's a prime example of where somebody has used the Kickstarter. And we've seen tons of the GLiOS community actually use the Kickstarter as well. Fuck Toys probably so chat. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. All you turkey heads, they're all like half dozed out. Honestly, I'm surprised that so many of you are actually here this evening. It's a holiday for you guys. Like let's be real, it's a long weekend, right? None of you are working Friday. I should have looked into this. I did not look into any of the Thanksgiving rituals, and I know it's not toy related, but I'm gonna stop sharing for one quick second. You guys can all relate to this. I know as all of you guys in there being creatives of some sort or another, we hyper fixate, man, to the point that let's be real. Like sometimes it's almost intimidating when we start even thinking about a project, the amount of brain space and energy that project starts kind of consuming at all times as the problem solving and the brainstorming starts happening. And suddenly, like at all hours and minutes of the day, we're thinking about it. And I've been working on a little project lately that I won't lie, my brain is on that constantly right now. And it's coming up to a bit of a wrap up from my end, which means I can kind of close that mental folder on it and kind of be like, oh, I don't have to think about it anymore. Whereas I'm not gonna lie, for the last I could be talking to somebody and as they're talking to me, I'm fucking like bang, bang, You know, that's all I can hear as they're fucking talking. And yeah, anyways, I know you guys all get it. We're all fucking creators. Bureau of Print, what is going on? Fuck toys, that sounds absolutely abysmal, man. I'm sorry that you've got to drop into the office tomorrow. Zymet, you've got to drop tomorrow. Of course you do. Oddly, so have a lot to do tomorrow and work so on next week's drop. Dudes, honestly, okay, so I'm all over the place. This is what happens when B's not here. If you guys haven't noticed, B's obviously the one that's a little bit more fucking like. So that being said, I'm gonna go back over to Pocket Salsa's page here because as I'm bouncing all over the page, as Zymetco is talking about their release here, I've got to fucking take a little look at this. Also, what is like get out of here, my little sleepy bunny dude? What's going on? Fucking where is this little piece? You better not have removed it off your page. They ended up actually doing a piece recently. Oh hell yeah, fuck yeah! Look at this motherfucker. The Gen, sculpted by Pocket Salsa, script printed and painted by Topher Toys, informed and inspired by Plastic Jesus. Obviously, if you all are fast readers on your phones, if you can somehow read all this script here, or if not, go back, check this post out. The sculpt, for one, insane. Now, if you know Plastic Jesus and you know the amount of fucking Zymetco pieces they have, and then you know Zymetco's style, the fucking paint app on this, in my opinion, it's that beautiful touch in of like this screams Zymetco from the religious fucking artifact, the holes, the freaking yellow in here, my goodness. But then of course this freaking sparkly galactic-y black is a little bit more towards the Topher Toys style. This piece literally is just like a fucking great representation, in my opinion, of Plastic Jesus's collection. This is a fantastic piece, man. It is cool as all hell. Ah, sorry. This is if we're gonna be talking about Thanksgiving and fucking doing shows and shit. This is the kind of shit, in my opinion, that like grateful to be able to see this kind of stuff be made, to see the freaking fantastic ideas out there, the community spirit. My goodness, dudes. This thing is just something else. Ah, sorry. Anyways, that being said, take a little peek at this here. If you haven't chimed in yet, definitely maybe even chime in on the Pocket Salsa post regarding what they should maybe do for like a mid-tier on this drop coming up. But if we're also going to be talking about Safubi's vinyls, how they get produced, something I find really intriguing is actually Toys on Tap has kind of taken that helm lately as well, right? So if you guys aren't familiar, part of the Pocket Salsa Safubi drop ended up actually being a collaboration with Toys on Tap to get that out. Now, Toys on Tap is actually posting this saying Barfy from the boy Bootleg Toy Co. is moving forward. We are now in process of doing wax, so that mold can be made. This piece will have two colorways sooner than you think. There will be two colorways, one original and one Reptar. There will also be blanks that can be grabbed. Hopefully, there will be in the new year. That's wild to me. And this is something that we definitely weren't seeing, like I would say, even like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But individuals like Toys on Tap, Abe stepping in, taking the helm on stuff like this, undergoing these projects. It's amazing to see these now being made. It closes some of those gaps. I know that vinyl for a lot of people can be a bit of like a gatekeepery feeling area. It's a brand new form. Even this part here, right? We are in the process of getting wax made. All these sculpts typically end up getting waxes done and retooling done to make sure that they're going to be efficient and proper for being pulled out of those steel molds. And again, that's just like where typically the expensive process comes from. It's a rather large investment. This is just an absolutely fantastic representation, in my opinion, of where the community is coming together on brand new collaborations that we were kind of dreaming of years ago. And again, what's always fucking wild to me about these toys, once these molds are made, like that factory has these molds. Like this piece exists. I know that I say that way too fucking often, but this piece then freaking exists. It's out there in the world. It exists as a piece. It's just freaking nuts. And yeah, what a fucking gorgeous sculpt on that, man. Oh, gorgeous piece. And B's obviously there, so I'm gonna close up this share screen. Oh, what up?
Hi, bud.
Man, you missed it. The opening, I fucking forgot to add myself to the stage. I had myself muted, didn't have my camera on yet. Went to turn my camera on, opened up a subfolder. These boys were all just hanging out watching a blank screen for a while. Just kind of like, well, the intro popped off. Like, the fuck's happening here? How you doing?
Like, I guess there's no show tonight. Dude, I'll tell you what. You ever been so excited to get to the last level of a game and then you beat it and you just feel so fucking good and you're like, you know what, man, I can probably relax now. I got that same feeling going on right now. It's Thanksgiving, and I'll tell you what, man, love the family, no doubt. When Thanksgiving night is over, love that, no doubt, no doubt at all.
I'm sure I've shared it before, man, but honestly, I must have been like maybe 13 years of age. We're heading out to one of our relatives for a family dinner. We're in the driveway. I look at my father and I'm like, do I have to go to this? And he was like, honestly, you're at the age now, you can decide what you're going to do, but I'm sure your mother would really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
those were the words I needed to basically walk right back into the house and never go to a family dinner ever again.
That's one way to handle it. That's one way to handle it. That's for sure. I am going to roll back up in here right quick, if you don't
Yeah,
mind, and just say hello to all of our friends in the room. 8-Bit Mike,
do
Dylan
it.
Clement, Zimmit Co., Bootleg Toy Co., Acid 9 Toys, what is up? FKD, sir, how are you? Stormico, what up? Jazz Wizzy, Jimmy Folks. If he'd be here any longer, he'd be a stool. Cool Cat Toy Co. Bliss Receptor, Recycle Galaxy. What's up? Gorton, Garten Noir Toys. What is happening? That's a new one. Bureau of Print. What up? O'Keefe, my man. Going to be taking a look at an O'Keefe piece today that collab with DNS. Street Fight. What up? That's it, man. That's all the hellos. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the holiday edition of Toys Live, which means absolutely nothing. It just means that we have no guests tonight, and we're going to look at some stuff. I don't really know what we're going to do, dude. I am just super glad that the next 2 hours or whatever the fuck we make this is hanging with the homies, man, and talking about shit we all just really like. That's what I'm
That's
excited about.
Well, I think you and I were even actually we might have even come up and talked about it last week on the show. Let's be oh, I like that mug. Like
Mm.
Thanksgiving is really about just being thankful for the fact that we've got some homies and shit.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. And I think that, given the Thanksgiving definition that we were all kind of taught as we were growing up, I think it's definitely evolved into that for a lot of us, where you're just kind of thankful to have friends and family around and hanging out with them, doing whatever you like to do, and just eating just like a person who's never going to eat before or again. So yeah.
If we're gonna be talking about being thankful for friends and shit, I've grabbed a couple pieces because again I didn't know what we were gonna be doing today either. But check this. So this is a piece actually, one of
Ooh,
the early pieces from Vomiting Droids. Back
yes.
when I don't even know if Vomiting Droids knew if they were making toys.
Mm,
They were just kind of making things and playing around.
yes.
And this is one of those pieces where like you reach out to the artist and you're kind of like, hey man, I need to have that thing. How do I get it in my possession? And so like I'm thankful for dudes like that because let's be real, man. Like that dude has actually become quite the homie, I think, for a lot of us.
Mm.
Where when they first came in the scene, they were a little bit more introverted. And yet we've had the opportunity to fucking see them really shine and drop some fucking really cool shit. Attempts were made. What's going on? Andreas A, what up, my dude? Hope you're having a great weekend, man.
You know what's funny, dude, is when we look at that piece that you held up, like, I think there's a group of us, and probably, the more people that are in here for the longer and longer, and Vomiting Droids a little bit more, know what his work looks like. You can hold up that piece, and all you have to do is hold it up, right? And we go, vintage vomit, dude, for sure. Without you even saying anything, it's that's vintage vomit. You can tell by the color palette.
Right.
You can tell by the mask on the outside of the face.
But
It's
looking back now, knowing more about this shit, it's kind of impressive, man. Also, Suki's calling you out for the fact that your bad dragon must be on beside you. And I don't know if the battery is faulty on it or something,
Can
but
you hear that? You know what? I did have my phone on silent and it was sitting on the desk that I'm using. I apologize. I will remove that. Sorry, gentlemen.
not to bust your chops, my
Wow.
dude.
Shame on
Um,
shame.
but the fact that piece is actually a marbled piece, and then I was even actually looking at it at the show, and it's like it's not that little face. It's not glued to the face. It's actually like he must have balanced it into the other mold just enough that the chin when they poured the cast of the yellow, the chin cured into it. So it's
Mm.
one of those things where like you look at it just being like, God damn, dude, like there's actually quite a bit happening here, whether you were just experimenting and playing around or not. Like that, which classic fucking vomit, let's be real.
Yeah. You know what, dude? And I think that's a great point, man. When you start looking at what it is, right? Because I think I think the people that are really solid in this community, all of us in this room for sure, I think we really appreciate what people do, not only the final product that they come out with, but then the process as well. Um, and you really have to take something like that and look at it for a little while and really appreciate what that process is. I think to the outside person, they go and they look like, and they might say, hey, that's whack, or that looks like somebody screwed up something. You know what I mean? And then it's the conundrum, dude. I think we talk about it all the time, right? It's like bringing somebody in from the outside who doesn't know about this or the process or anything, and then trying to break that down and keep it interesting at the same time, you know?
I would even actually say if you talk about hurdles that certain artists have to almost overcome, that's almost one that Vomiting Droids probably subconsciously or unconsciously had to overcome. The fact that I specifically remember when artists first started sharing their work, they were specifically going, look at this guy who's making work out of their mistakes. He's
Mm.
making the mistakes the focal point. Once you get to know Vomiting Droids, you're like, no, Homeboy's not really beautifying a bunch of mistakes or miscasts. They're experimenting and playing around and trying
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah, it is, man. It's interesting how that ends up becoming a style, right? Like, you know what's funny, dude, is we were talking about vintage vomit pieces. And now that I'm looking across the room in my vomit case, there's two pieces in there that are 3.75s that one of them is like a Princess Leia, all red with a black head. And there's nothing distorted or anything about it. It's just an old, dope 3.75. And there's another one that's an all blue guy. Then they're all both static. But it's funny, man, that that's totally not the style. You know what I mean? But the way that the figures are posed and the colors that they used, they fit right in that acid wasteland. You know, it's
Okay. And honestly, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm sure because you've got some early vomit.
mm,
How sick for anybody out there who's like, Brilliant Demon, what's going on? You're talking about like the efforts, like, and the spectrum's huge, right? We see people who do fantastic backers, packaging, fucking Dark Rainbow comes to mind. But this was this weird, quiet, subtle way. Vomiting Droids had all these like thin pieces of cardboard. He had illustrated like, these like mountains or something on the background. He had written a story, basically telling you like, "Welcome to the Acid Wasteland."
mm,
Slid them both, the figure and that, into these black envelopes where you couldn't see anything. And then what I loved is like there was actually even an extra one that said top secret or something like that. And Vomiting Droids, like I'm part of the fucking mystery gang style. This little like don't show anybody this ends up having one of like the first protos of some of the little acid wasteland bears.
yeah,
I remember even asking them, being like, "Hey, dude, I'm doing an unboxing. And like, am I okay to show this?" And then being like, if you don't mind, like, there's other people who have gotten their packages, and like, I wouldn't mind just kind of keeping it. It's like the dude was always like this weird way of like creating like a bit of like lore behind it with the means they
absolutely.
had. Like,
Dude, so one of the best I mean, out of all the packaging that we've seen, right? Like there's some people with some super top-notch packaging. We see it all the time. You mentioned Dark Rainbow. Everybody, I mean, header cards to everything. They're so dope. One of the absolute, God dang it, I wish I had it readily in front of me. The best packaging that I have is it's an early Vomiting Droids. And what he did was, now if everybody's familiar with the 3.75 packaging, like for an assassin or a raider from Healy, it's about that long, and it's just plastic, and it's got Healy's logo all over it, and it's just got a little Ziploc top at it. That's all it is. So it's just one of those. So what Vomiting Droids did was, you know, those old school it would be like an old school P-Touch machine, right? Where you it's like it's on a reel, and you select the letter and then you punch it and it comes out on the tape. You know what I'm talking about? So it's the Healy packaging, and then he just writes he does one of these, so it's all black packaging, right? And then in that red tape, he puts Vomiting Droids and just slapped it right across the top. Best packaging I have ever seen for a bootleg toy. It was fucking awesome, dude. I sent it to Healy. He flipped his shit, dude. He's like, that is awesome. And I was like, dude, this is it, man. This is like, and I'm sure he did it somewhat as a joke, but knowing Aaron down the line, that was completely intentional, man. And it was, dude, he nailed it.
But and that's kind of that shit. Like Dre Zay's nailed it. Like that's punk. It's kind of like, yeah, that's one of those things where you can't try too hard. It just kind of comes to mind and you do it. That being said, like if we're gonna talk about packaging, man, Drock Toy on Novelty. So I've got a tab for them later as well. And of course, Suki, our boy Suki, fucking fucked toys. That fucking obviously everybody's feed is gonna be fucking Shrek ruined lately.
Yeah.
But a Drock box, man. You could literally buy a Baba Drock box that comes with the box being hand painted. Then you open it, and there's a bunch of fucking like killer fucking backers and package art in there as well. And you're just
Yeah.
like, when does it stop? Where does it stop?
Yeah, his is that. And you know what, man? And what he used to do back, actually, he still does it too, dude. Then he'll drop a handwritten note in there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the first few months of giveaways, I was doing that too. And then after a while, I was like, that's a fucking lot of work, man. Brilliant Demon said, got a homie at Skull Spitter. You guys should check out. He needs to be on here. Cool. We will definitely check him out. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, dude, it's funny, man, how we go on and we end up seeing kind of like eras of toys, not only with artists, kind of artist waves coming in and out, but maybe someone changes their style or it changes a little bit over time, but you can definitely take a look at it and kind of name. We're talking about an era, and it's at this point it's a year or two, right? You know what I mean? Maybe less than that.
But even that just being said, like I would say like the last year or two, bootleg Toyco, Lynn's the Rat Boy, it's like, oh damn, Stormico Station. It's like, holy shit, we've seen some heavy hitters come out in the last little bit. And that's just to name a few. Obviously I'm missing a
dude,
more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you know what I was gonna say is the piece that I think you talked about already, the Pocket Salsa piece, man, that the vinyl, with Abe. But dude, you know what? It kind of reminds me of the giveaway question for this week. Bro, thank you everybody who replied to that, man. There was some fucking amazing feedback in there.
But so that's exactly where, I'll be honest, I tried to build a bit of a theme. So I didn't know what we were really going to go on with tonight. I didn't know if you're going to have a big slew of stuff from Decon that you wanted to show off. But I did want to kind of kick off with the fact that Pocket Salsa actually, because everybody's looking to do vinyl, they did a great post talking about their next vinyl piece and doing a Kickstarter for it. And then, of course, transition on over to Toys on Tap is actually going to be funding or helping fund that bootleg Toyco sick-ass vinyl piece, which also kind of leads me into that thing looks a little bit like Godzilla. And I don't know if you guys ended up seeing the Godzilla show that was actually happening over at Clutter Magazine this week. Like I said, I'm hopping a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, I did not see that.
So I'm going to pull that up real fast.
Dylan Clement says some of his header cards are designed by Skull Spitter. Nice. Okay, cool.
I made sure to pull up that page. It's going to be in our tabs of things to try and pull up tonight, because already I was kind of eyeing their page. There's some sick shit there, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, 70 Years of Godzilla, online preview and sales, November 30th, 5 p.m. Gallery opening reception, December 14th at 5 p.m. So, of course, any of the Zilla fans there might be something to keep your eyes peeled for. Nice. They always seem to throw a bunch of really good shows. And I think we talked about this actually with the Sparkly Rainbow one. It is a little bit difficult sometimes. It's almost like it takes a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we the at-home people get full access. But the shows they usually throw are absolutely fucking nuts, and they end up being quite the installation as well.
I like the color flow there, man. That's nice.
Yeah, this is part of the fucking Planet Rainbow part that they do. What I love about this is essentially a bunch of artists get given a color, and then they're actually to design a toy in that color scheme, and each piece then gets grouped into where it would belong, like on the rainbow, which of course makes quite the brilliant fucking viewing.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. Very, very Marketeer Mike on the color flow there. If you guys are familiar with the homie Marketeer Mike, he's out in Philly, and his collection is elite. as far as the 375 cabinets go, like the ones behind me, but his are all just total color flowed out like that, dude. It's amazing.
I know an individual that, don't get me wrong, aesthetically appealing, fine, but they have decided to organize their books by color.
Mm.
And the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, that seems ridiculous. Like the Dewey Decimal System's been working for a long time for a reason, right? And I'm staring at this thing thinking to myself, like, organizing your books by color seems really frustrating. And it was so beautiful the day that somebody asked them to borrow a book and they were sitting there dumbfounded trying to remember what color that book was. And they're like, I think it's like a blacky gray. And you're just like, yeah.
Dude, and that, yeah, I mean, I can just see it now, right? And then you say, oh no, and then you finally find the book and you go, no, black and gray was on the front cover, the spine was green. Fuck. Oh, what a nightmare, dude. That seems like I think you'd have to have a pretty damn good memory on what color the books were, or categorize that somehow, write it down somewhere. But holy smokes, that's an undertaking. You're right. Aesthetically, it looks great. But that's a hard task, that is for sure. Suki says that's got to screw with you when new editions come along. Yeah, no kidding. Definitely on that. But getting back to the giveaway question, man, I thought what was really cool about that was, sometimes when we talk to artists, I'm sure you've talked to plenty too, is people kind of ask, or I don't want to say they ask, but they talk about, is it dying out? Does it feel like it's slow? And maybe it's because, pieces aren't selling or for whatever reason, right? We could sit here and name them all night long, but what's encouraging about that, the answers in that post was you can see that there's a lot of want in there to do something else, do something better, do something different. There's a ton of stuff in there, man. So if anybody's concerned about the community and where it's at right now, just take a shuffle through through those answers there and look what people are talking about.
The thing I thought was interesting that we didn't see a couple of years ago was the amount of people that are now wanting to do 3D sculpting. It seemed like,
Yes.
I would say even 2 years ago, there was almost like this, maybe it was just because it was new, but it was almost like if you mentioned 3D sculpting, people were suddenly almost kind of questioning the validity of it. It was something kind of like, oh, you didn't get a bunch of scraps of plastic and fumes in your face while making this? I don't know if it's art.
Well, and not only that too, man. I mean, you're digitally sculpting something, which I think is different than 3D, putting a 3D file in there and just hitting print. You know what I mean? So I do think there's skill in both of those. But I think when you're 3D sculpting something from nothing, that is absolutely a skill. It's a different skill, but it's a skill. Killer Napkins, him VR sculpting. I mean, fucking hey, tell me that ain't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's some otherworldly shit, dude. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's different, but it's all part of it. And I think that's what one of the things that make this thing keeps on going forward is that there's so much different stuff, and the majority of it is it's a different craft, man. It's a different skill, and when you're good at multiple things like Bootleg Toy Co., I mean, son of a bitch, dude, it comes out and it's just banging every time.
I won't lie. I was creeping their page earlier, like looking at shit, thinking to myself, like, where are your later lines?
Yeah.
Like,
interesting, right? And I don't know. See, dude, I don't know anything about 3D printing at all. But you're absolutely right, man. There is layer lines on some of them, and then other ones where there's not. And I'm sure that's the quality of the printer, the quality of the resin. I really don't know, but no matter how you look at it, I think it's still a skill in itself to get something coming out consistently that's just dope as shit.
I would say where it's lovely, especially so collabs that we maybe never even see before start happening. When we brought in Plastic Vomit Customs, they mentioned the fact that they often get like some of their files from a particular artist. That artist actually ends up doing 3D scans of a lot of the original Star Wars pieces and uploads those 3D scans onto their computer. The fact that we've got fucking Dark Rainbow 3D scanning shit, it's like, yeah, man. it opens up whole new worlds.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think it's just, you know, Dre. I mean, that's very simple. That's pretty black and white right there, man. 3D artists are artists. 100% agree there. Um, easier access to 3D sculpting software is the game changer. Yeah, I agree too. DT O'Keefe, and you know, it's something you like bootleg Toyco, man. If we go way back on that episode, he's a self-taught guy, you know, as far as 3D sculpting and whatnot. And dude, it's like I don't think anybody can take that away from you if you're doing that and trying to say that that's not a skill. That's absolutely a skill. Um,
The fucking chat
uh,
gates.
Yeah, Bliss says I feel like IG has muzzled the community scenes. Uh, yeah, it's hard, man. You know, I don't get it, dude. I posted a couple reels in the last few days, and they just both did shit. You know what I mean? It's like, um, and I don't think that's a measure of I don't know what that a measure is, but it's just that I can't figure it out, man. I wish I could.
If I'm being totally honest, man, and this is, I don't want to blame the platform. If I'm being 1,000% honest, I think a lot of folks are just exhausted, man. And like, I hate using that excuse because, of course, like, well, what do you do then to kind of build the morale and get the troops kind of fucking going happy and stuff? And I think nights like this, when we're all kind of hanging out, when we're chatting, like, we definitely all get excited. But at the same time, one thing that I did notice a lot was a lot of individuals were saying like they're looking to kind of downsize their collections a little bit. Like even that was a little bit interesting to me, where it's like as much as we do have a lot of folks that are looking to expand their creative side, we have a lot of folks that are kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind downsizing my collection, getting things a little bit more honed in. Whereas if I wish I could win the lottery so I could fucking scoop up everything everybody's dropping because y'all make too much cool shit.
You know, and that's the thing, dude. You know, as I think the longer you're in it, the more pieces you acquire, and then if you know, at some point you run out of room, and then what are you going to do after that? So you got to do a couple. You got to downsize, or you know, the worst thing to do, as I know a couple people in this position where they have stuff that they can't display, myself included, man. And that's the worst feeling is when you have dope pieces that should be on display, even for yourself to look at, and you just don't have the room or the space to do it. So. But that being said, man, I think overall, even if they are trying to hone those collections down to a little something, here's something funny, dude, about that is I've talked to multiple people who said that they're doing that. I'm only collecting fill in the blank, whatever it is, right? Now, and then you talk to them a few weeks later. Now I'm only collecting this one and this one, right? And the next thing you know, like a year later, they're just a full-fledged collector again of everything. So I don't know. I mean, I think it could be where you're at financially too. I mean, I think those are an easy way to. I always see these things as kind of if I were to sell them for money, that I could probably get them back someday, or I would make sure that I would sell them to somebody who would be willing to sell them back to me at some point. But I don't know, man. It's cool. I mean, I thought the comment section for the giveaway was positive in the sense that it sounds like a lot of people have plans for new stuff, better stuff, exciting stuff. It's really good too, man. Like if you're looking for somebody who specializes in a certain something, and maybe you have you know, a need for that, or someone in there said, "Hey, I'd like to get better at this," and you're an expert on that. Reach out, man. Drum up some business for yourself, and just kind of go down the list and see who needs what, man, and just offer your services, whether it's paid or not. It's completely up to you, but you know, that's a good little reference book right there.
See, that being said, I don't know if you're familiar with this company. Mile High Safubi, I know, is one that we all go to, but this guy has popped up recently. Rabbit Giant Safubi, under 300 followers, and it looks like they're a Safubi manufacturing or producer, however you want to say it. But they're already doing things like Creature Maker toys. I think they did a run of our boy fucking Resin Blood.
Oh
And it's like,
shit! So this must be the dude
who
from.
are you?
Okay, is he from
Like, this is
Brazil?
interesting. I can't put. I'm like, if anybody knows a little bit more, chime in. Feel free, please.
I can't
Um,
remember where Eddie got those. I'm going to show one of those tonight that you just showed. Um,
because again, it's just crazy to me. Like they kind of popped out of nowhere. Like when did they start posting? Fucking November 4th, 2021, and October 13th of 2020. So like not big old gap until March. Almost what, 3 years of
Yeah,
no posting? And then all of a sudden, just like, oh, hey, we make a bunch of fucking vinyl molds. What up?
yeah, yeah, man. Interesting. I was almost thinking that we should do a because, dude, I think if you try to tackle Safubi as a whole, dude, it's just too big of a piece of pie, right? It's way too big. So, um, something vinyl producers in the States would be something that would interest me. Just because I know that process is one of the most aggravating things when people are dealing with stuff like that, as far as other countries and exchange rates and all that stuff. And the communication times are usually way out of whack. Um, so I don't know. I think that would be interesting. And then we think of some guys that are kind of doing it on their own right now, and which would also be interesting, man. I'd love to get Low Tech in here to see what his deal is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Dude, but I love how we always see like the connections tie. So like I was even showing it the one week, and I know Suki has actually just mentioned it, like Steady Crafton's new video, which I've got pulled up here, because I was talking about this maybe like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, um, seeing dudes like Steady Crafton jumping into the Safubi game, doing videos where they show you how they were able to do like the entire process from start to finish. But then you start seeing names like Saruga Mark, Akashiki Records, even Low Tech. You start seeing these dudes commenting. You start seeing Steady Crafton commenting. It's like, yeah, holy shit! Like these dudes definitely understand that it's a very niche area. Like Kerwin's saying, like there's vinyl in the States. It's like absolutely, but one of the biggest things I find that most people tend to go to is where can I get my thing made? Where can I get it pulled?
Yeah.
And so this whole like garage style or DIY style is a little bit more of kind of just like, how the fuck do you do that? And it's funny to me when you start seeing the same fucking names pop around in that circle. Every time somebody new hops in, they might bring some new ideas, but you'll start seeing the same names all of a sudden kind of pop in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, and like you said, my boneyard venue was made in Colorado. Nice. So yeah, so and that's what Kyle's saying is that there is vinyl in the States. Definitely, dude. Kyle, we should have you on sometime, dude. Maybe just talk about all this stuff, dude. But
Well,
yeah, I think that I just maybe I don't understand, or maybe people maybe there's reasons, or maybe they just don't know. But it just seems like when I talk to people that are getting into vinyl, and I ask where it's being pulled. Uh, it's rarely ever, unless it's Mile High. You know what I mean? There's not a lot that I hear of in the United States unless guys are kind of doing it themselves.
I
And
would
I don't know
agree.
why that is. Yeah, I
Well,
think I would want to keep everything as close to home as possible.
and vinyl Pocket Salsa's even saying like vinyl originated in the States way back, and it's kind of like, yeah, one thing that I think a lot of us actually forget about, and it's actually kind of sick. If you actually look back in baby toys and piggy banks and that kind of stuff, we kind of forget that a lot of these actually would have been soft vinyl back in the day.
Mm.
And like oftentimes, like I think of this fucking green frog I remember coming home with because I was so stoked. I had just enough money. It was sitting on the window of this new shop in town. I buy it, get home. My parents right away are like, that's a dog chew toy. And I'm like, no. And like, yeah, that's a dog chew toy. And sure enough, I just fucking loved the sculpt, wanted it, had the money for it, grabbed it. So it's like we kind of forget about that. Even when we look at like famous British sculptors, and what's kind of unique about it is baby toys and bath toys. You start looking at the fact that it's almost like seamless in the way that it's got the edges for like let's say a rubber ducky, right? How smooth and seamless it all is, and you think of that being pulled, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, no doubt. It's got to be like child friendly. It's got to be hollow and buoyant. Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
no wonder.
Yeah, exactly. All those other things. God, it just seems like the more you think about it, the more kind of down that rabbit hole that you go. But that would be a fun conversation, man, to have about that. I don't know. I honestly don't know too much about vinyl. I know about the resin guys that are making vinyl now, and I think that's very exciting. I don't know if you would call that a subsection of that scene, or what you would call it, but I love the fact that people are, they kind of starting conversations like this where people, you know, I bet if we go back a couple of years and we ask that question to some of these people, they'd say, "Oh yeah, well, I'd like to get into, you know, vinyl making someday." And then boom, you have Pocket Salsa, and you have you know, even Barbarian Rage of the last couple of years, Eddie. You know, everybody really heavily getting into that. Yo, dude, absolutely.
Again, I didn't know what we were gonna be doing tonight, so I just grabbed a couple pieces, and I'm like thankful to own the
Yeah,
fucking prototype of Goblin Mob fucking getting their castle creep made in Safubi. And it's like, yeah, like homies that would typically be casting resin, even they said it. It's kind of like you're casting resin, some of them are fucking up. It's a lot of work that you're right over there. This can be an
yeah,
investment, but once you get that initial mold made, the runs kind of hopefully pay for themselves.
yeah, yeah. I know there's some money you got to kick out on the front end there, and sometimes that's an issue, I guess, just depending on how many you're ordering. But then, you know, problems with the factory and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely need to check that out, man. Several people have mentioned that now, but it's cool, you know. But and my you know, for me, if it looks dope, I want it. You know, some of that really higher end Safubi is more of a dream than anything, or some of that, you know, really high end vinyl, where the pieces are just, I mean, they're awesome, but you know, 5, 6, $700 a piece, man. That's crazy. That's less money than you think. Yeah, it's you know, and like I said, it probably depends on where you're getting it from, and I've heard prices really all over the place, but anyways, it'll be a cool conversation. Salsa, I'm glad. I'm actually going to show one of the chums tonight, and Abe was nice enough to give us one for a giveaway that we'll do in the next couple of weeks here. So that will be sweet. I think Jevaho posted one recently, that brown one, the brown chum. That's actually the same one that we're going to be giving out.
Kerwin actually mentioned one of the biggest problems with painting on vinyl is going to be using vinyl paints. But honestly, Wonder Goblin, I hear that their vinyl paints are absolutely fantastic. And then the other thing, honestly, I hate if you're not going to do it, but Elmer's glue, I'd have to look into it. There's a vinyl acetate, I believe is what it's called. But mixing the Elmer's glue wall into your paint can actually help with that adhesion issue. Sorry.
Kyle, were you talking about the fumes? Because he said that shit is bad.
Fair.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know. I mean, I'm sure it would be. I mean, holy shit, the way that stuff smells. You know what's so crazy though, dude? How bad it smells. But you know when you get like a piece of vinyl in the mail and you open it up, oh my god, that smell!
see,
Like just like
I didn't even want to be that snob. Street Fight SPX mentioned like that Japanese Safubi is one of the better, and when we're talking about the fucking fumes of this shit, I hate being that guy. But anybody else who's opened it, you're gonna know, man. You pop a fucking Japanese Safubi bag, and there's this weird sweetness in the fucking chemical smell that is just like, ooh,
yeah,
and like it's very specific to those, man. And like
yeah.
you know, you're probably getting some kind of a weird little high in there while you're popping that bag. But oh shit.
Civico says Wonder Vinyl is actually on sale for the next few days. If you're looking out, sales, God, dude, everything's a sale right now, right? Black Friday. And what is Black Friday? Like, it starts like 2 or 3 days before Black Friday now. Pre-Black Friday sale. It's like, so
Okay,
is there another sale on Black Friday?
I feel honestly like a troglodyte 90% of the time, man, because one had no idea about the truth of Thanksgiving over in the States and that it fell on just like a particular Thursday of the month.
Last Thursday.
Two, had no idea that Black Friday was this. I thought it was around Christmas time. I didn't know that it was like, what the hell's going on here?
That answers my next question. Do you guys do that up there? Apparently, it's only us crazy asses out here, dude. But
No, we've kind of stolen it from you guys. It's one of those
okay.
things where we understand as well that like companies, it's what's supposed to be the first day that you're out of the red. Bullshit.
I guess, dude. I don't know. I mean, the official beginning of the holiday season, I've heard. So Black Friday, then we have Cyber Monday, of course, right, for all the other online deals and shit. But it's crazy, dude. It used to start like at now when my kids were growing up. Uh, Gosh, dude, when they were really little, we'd be the idiots out there at 2 o'clock, you know, the next morning after Thanksgiving, trying to be in line for all these crazy sales that they had. We'd go to places like the Disney store and, you know, stupid shit like that. And now it's not even like that. Now stores are open. Like there were stores over at the factory stores that we have here in town. They've been open all day. There is no like, sale anymore. So now it's just to me, it's more of a marketing term at this point where people say Black Friday, and it's just like, well, why don't you just give me that deal some other time of the year, huh? I want a deal every time of the year.
We could go on like yeah, man. All that happened, like, let's be honest, man. All week, all month, people are kind of like, well, I might just hold off until Black Friday, and then you have a big influx of sales on that one day when you mark a bunch of shit down. I was thinking about this the other day, dude. Like, because I was thinking about something like Temu, and in my brain, I'm kind of like, yeah, that kid was listening in math class when they did that whole shit where they're like, you take a loss until the 50th good, and then on the 50th good, you start to make a profit. Right? And it's kind of like, yeah, that kid was listening that day when he decided to fucking sell a chair for 50 cents, but on the 50th chair he sells, he actually starts making a profit.
He probably took notes and everything.
Right? Like, it's not rocket science. You're just kind of sitting there being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Exactly. All toys all the time.
All toys all the time. Hey, you want to look at a couple things real quick?
I really do, yeah.
Throw some shit up there? I'm going to start off with the
bag. I thought you had cool fucking toys over there. Yeah, okay. I'll pull up some tabs. Looking at the tabs is cool too. I just like
no. I do have toys over here. Or if you'd like to pull up some tabs, whatever you'd like.
Do you want to show some toys off?
Let me. I'll show. Yeah, I'll show one right now, and then we'll jump into some tabs. So this one right here, not technically a toy, but super dope. One of the very first things that I saw at Decon this year, and is from our good buddy Killer Napkins. These are still available on his website. I don't know if they are. Don't take my word for that, but they were $50. $50 is an absolute steal. Check this out. Yes. Wacky faces, mask. What's really cool about this one is there's no hole for the eyes or mouth, so you could probably wear it as a mask. It's going to be a dark show after you do that, but this I'm actually probably going to put in some sort of shadow box. It's got to be a deep shadow box because the eyes stick out pretty far on it, but dude, badass. He does these, makes these by hand. It's a sculpt that he did. Then he pours them and paints them. There's probably 3 or 4 different characters out there. There's another werewolf one that's really sick that I think was a previous release because I didn't see that one at Decon, but I was going to try to hit him up. This is the Fish Creep. But yeah, Killer Napkins right there. Awesome quality. The paint is super sick. It's all hand done. You can see, of course.
I've been trying to think of how the fuck they casted that since you did it. Yeah, like Suki, great use for a vacuum former. It's like, yeah, like, is that, like, I'm so perplexed by that piece, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
Dude, it is fucking nuts. And you know what, dude? So I usually like things in like groups of 3 or 5. Even numbered stuff is kind of weird to me. So I always like to have it in odd numbers. But like a set of these 3, like lined up, boom, boom, boom. Tell me that wouldn't just absolutely blow up any wall space that you have. The problem is I don't have that fucking wall space. So no, it's it's definitely bigger than my face. So
it looks like it's almost the size of, like, the entire size of my midsection. That thing, I could wear that as a shirt.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big mask. Like if I put this on, it would definitely probably come down to here somewhere. But what's it look like under UV? Oh. Damn, that's a good question, son. Let me see.
Suki's your son. Damn.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Let's get into this. Oh no, of course. Why would you be able to see it? Trust me, it's dope. The UV is insane. I'll probably have to take a picture of this and post it. But yeah, the UV is, oh my god, that is such a shame that you cannot see that.
See if you put the UV from behind it. Nah, of course.
Yeah. God damn. I'm telling you. God, it looks fucking amazing. Yeah, good call on that. I probably wouldn't have done that. And I don't know, somewhere on the packaging it probably says it looks amazing under UV, and I just never saw that. But
well, and actually, when you were doing your tour, something I thought was brilliant, and a couple of the artists did it, but Killer Napkins specifically, their booth had a bunch of UV lights actually on there, a bunch of LED UV,
yes.
and I thought that was brilliant, man, because even in the regular lighting, it really, really, really showed the pop of a bunch of their work.
Seeing the top of my head. Did you know that I didn't have that I had a shaved head there, buddy? I've had a shaved head since I was 14.
I think we all just assumed you had a mullet.
No mullet. No, shaved head. I shave my head every Sunday for the last 31 years.
B is for Buddha. You all didn't realize that, but homeboy is in tune.
Is that comparable to a nip slip? I almost thought about coming in here with no hat on today because it's Thanksgiving and I had to be all, hey, look at me, responsible person earlier this evening. So can we see your head under UV? No.
What a bunch of jerks.
That's okay, man. You know what? I haven't paid for a haircut in over 30 years, so I'm not really worried about that.
Hey, there you go.
All Sunday anyway, so I'm just, getting a head start.
I just assumed you were like 35, 36. So, I mean, if you haven't paid for a haircut since you were 5 or 6, that's killer.
35, 36. That's, that'd be something. That'd be something. What kind of tabs you got over there? You said you have some tabby doos.
I do, actually. Yeah, a couple of tabby doos.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw a post this morning that I thought was absolutely brilliant, man. LRH has this frequently asked questions tab. Ooh. That when I popped this open, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, you know what? This does actually answer a lot of things that a lot of us are sitting there typically wondering. One thing I thought was actually really brilliant was they have for orders outside of the UK, I do a flat rate shipping of $21.60 on my art, toys, and prints, regardless of how many you buy, and I mark them as gift to avoid any taxes on your end. I cannot do this for paintings or sculptures due to the value, size, and nature of the work. For art toys over 100, shipping is free. Code ArtToys100. So right off the hop, I thought that was pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But then they've also got a line of figures that are coming out that are still just the Astroverse fucking figures that they've got up in their shop. And they're only 30. And then you add in the fact that 100 shipping is free. And then I didn't know if you saw this, but the fact that they just did a collaboration recently with fucking Delicious Again Peter. It's like, hell yeah, man. Yes. What a brilliant fucking collaboration for some homies over in the UK.
Oh man, when did that post?
10 hours ago.
Is that a 1 of 1 or is that a run?
1 of 1, go get it. Yeah.
From Delicious. What the fuck is going on there?
That's what I'm saying. It was just like one of those things where it's kind of like, oh shit, yeah.
So did Peter do the figure or?
Yeah, so Peter ended up doing the figure and then LRH ended up doing the backer on it.
Wow. Holy shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like Peter's no joke, man. I've tried to nail that dude down on this show, multiple times. We almost had it, dude. We were so close a couple months ago.
What's bizarre to me, it must have been just something odd about the fact that me and Rainbow Yawn are just for some reason in love. Because I remember one day, Delicious Again Peter asked me to hop on and do like an IG live with me, and I'm sitting there being like, I'm just some fucking weird dude. Like I don't know if you've gotten the wrong idea because I talked to Rainbow Yawn, but we're just two dudes who like sharing lovey jokes with each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool, man. I missed that one. You said it was 10 hours ago.
It was 10 hours ago, yeah. But I'm sure they've this actually reminds me in a degree to what's their name now? Spice Dream.
Yeah.
Kind of puts me in mind of Spice Dream backers.
I agree. I have a couple that are just like that. You know what, dude? Actually, the old school ocular rhombus backs were very similar to that, dude.
So that's
Very,
actually where I'm heading next, which
yeah.
is kind of funny. But Black Friday deal for all those folks talking about Black Fridays. Black Friday deal over on the LRH with all orders placed before midnight GMT on Saturday. And okay, so this is interesting. And honestly, Ocular, if you're in the chat by chance or you're hanging out later, comment. But dude, I think they did the same thing. Your Doug has spray foam on it for that bubblegum effect. And when I was staring at this earlier, I was like, holy crap, I think they did spray foam too. It's such a messy pain in the ass fucking substance to work with, but it's fun and bubbly.
Yeah, very cool, dude. I like that look. Dude, you know whose account I'm just in fucking love with right now, and I don't have any of their pieces? Is fucking Camobot Commander.
Oh, I think that's in one of our tabs too. I'll have
Bro,
to double check, but
I need to reach out to them and be like, man, where do I get the goods, dude? You know, his stuff is
yeah,
it is
yeah,
interesting shit, man. You know.
dude, we're on the same like, get out of my head. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. But okay, when have we seen Ocular Rhombus do drops like this? And it was funny because
yes,
they even mentioned in their comment that they were like, I really want to be able to do some more like waves and runs instead of one-offs. And then we see shit like this where you're like, dude, why do you have 5 Palpatines? Where the fuck did that Nighthead come from? Something about a cape on a cape is just amazing. Like, fuck. I don't understand.
considering how he makes his stuff too, right? Like he went and he duplicated, like he didn't, that's not just one thing that's casted and poured. That's 5 different figure or 4 different figures that he's chopped up. You know, the capes he made himself, it looks like, but you know, that outer iridescent one.
Why is a cape on a cape so good? And then
I know, dude. I said the cape, and then I looked at it and I'm like, no, that's part of the figure. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's iridescent at the top there. So it's, yeah, you're right. It's a fucking cape on a cape.
like the figure already had a cape, and he was like, "Nah, this cape is lame. It needs a better cape because he's wearing like a fucking like cloaky cape."
Yeah.
But then like a minute detail, and I think Kerwin has actually used this material as well. But that crackle paint. So using like the glow in the dark under with like the UV glow in the dark.
Yeah.
And then adding the crackle paint to those fucking faces. Like
very nice.
Ocular Rhombus, you're silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Hey, one thing that I wanted to mention while we're talking about Ocular Rhombus, you brought up Ocular Rhombus, so I started thinking about assembly required. Man, I can't even mention where I heard this from. So I'm just going to say that I saw it on the news because it probably was on the news over there. I read something about Asheville, North Carolina, and them talking about assembly required. And they were talking about kind of the state of the area and how it is. And honestly, dude, it is a lot more further along than I expected them to be at this time. They just lifted the boiling water. They had a boiling water statute in line there to that you had to boil all the water because they weren't sure about it, but they've lifted that now. And it sounds like a lot of those places are coming back. So the best way to support Asheville at this point is, from what they were saying, and kind of the general consensus was to go there. You know, if you live close to the area and you can, you know, go eat there, go do something, but just kind of try to build that, end of it up, the retail aspect of it,
which is great. Kind of,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. It's just because I think that's lovely that it's very much in the mindset of, hey, we love the assistance, but it's kind of hard for us to sustain off assistance.
Yeah.
We really need to get our economy rolling again so we can get away from the assistance as much as we're grateful for the assistance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's what it's going to take is instead of, you know, for like you said, dude, prolonged, like definitely donations in the immediate future, but the, you know, the prolonged success is going to be people going back there. And from what I understand, the downtown district is cleaned up.
Yeah, but
whatever happened to the Wendigo? I'll comment on that real quick if you don't mind. Um, I don't know, and I think that's the general consensus of everybody is I don't know. I really wish I did. He was a great dude. I saw him at Assembly Required 2 years ago, and he actually had a table there.
Yeah.
And then he started a Patreon, and the Patreon was kind of hit or miss. If you remember, he really disappeared for a little while, like completely 100%. Then he made a slight comeback, posted, I want to say 1 or 2 times, but then the Patreon really kind of fell off. And that was kind of the last we've heard from him. So I was hoping to run into him at the last Assembly Required because I know that he was living in Asheville and he was working at a brewery called Wicked Weed. And after that, I don't know, man. I wish that guy the best. I really hope he's still around. We hung out. He was great. His pieces were sick. If you guys have any of his pieces, shit, man, I think we might, if we don't hear from him again, we might look back at those as kind of rare pieces here in the next few years, just because he didn't make a whole lot. But what he did make was sick. I mean, he had an awesome booth at Assembly Required. He was a great dude. I don't know. I miss that guy. If anybody ever hears from him, please reach out and let us know. But his account is still up from what I know. His pieces are always they're great, man. He was 3.75. He had some really sick work. But I don't know. That's the short on the Wendigo. I don't know. I wish I did. Great dude.
There's a few of them like that, man. And we kind of talked about it behind closed doors at the odd times. Sometimes it's hard. We don't want to try and like dig too much into it because at the end of the day, like life can throw you some fucking curveballs, and if you disappear, sometimes it's for a reason. You just want the space. So I definitely don't want to ever accidentally cross any lines. But because the chat was going on and on and on and on and on, thought we might do some fucking love. And all you guys saw me going through my fucking tabbies there earlier too, trying to find it. But Camelbot Commander, as B was saying, brilliant work,
dude. I mean,
it's like
God.
It's a combination of so many different things. It reminds me of one time I've got is that Aaron toys that they do this stuff with the glue and the enamel.
Yes.
It reminds me of things like fucking ocular rhombus's pieces. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Dude, it's such a mix of so many things that it's its own thing. You know what I mean? Like you look at that and you're just like, I'm interested right away because of the colors. You know whose color palette that looks like in that style? It's fucking Ghoul of Gaba.
For some reason their name was popping in too, and I was thinking to myself, like, but they didn't really do Scrambly like this. But it was reminding me of almost like if Trash Can Monster and fucking Ghoul of Gaba did a collaboration, then sent it over to Trash Joy Studios to make a mold and cast up, to send back over to Ghoul of Gaba to fucking color.
Agree, dude. I think you nailed that one. That's exactly what that is. I mean, if you had to try to categorize it like that, that's exactly what that is. But at the end of the day, it's different. It's fucking wild. The more you look at it, you're just like, what is that, man? It's, but not in a bad way. You're just like, God. And I think that's partly what this scene is all about, man. For the people who can appreciate it, you look at it and you go, how'd they do that, man? How did they do that? And I mean, even if you know how they did it, that's not even really the point. The point is just like, shit, that's different and that is dope. Look at that, dude. Fuck.
And I just love how like big dick energy the fucking caption is. Turns out nobody knew this guy, and I mean nobody. It's like, yeah, we didn't, okay? You came out of fucking nowhere, homeboy. We get it, and your shit's dope.
Does anybody have any of his pieces? If you do, and you're in the comments, let me know. But I mean, he's got a great profile. Look at the soft goods on the cape right there. What is that?
Looks almost like carpet or pajamas.
It's something. It's like, I don't know what that is, man. But, dude, some of those pores too. God, they're just so random.
Well, and then I look at these and I'm like, were you casting your scraps in clear?
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. What is that?
Like those look like the resin trimmings, but with some flower pieces. Like, and like, Why are these so cool?
And that's it, right? Like somebody might look at that and just be like, God, what is that? Um,
Like they have no right being as dope as they fucking are.
yes, I'm sure.
Carbon farmers.
Ooh, Bliss says he has some in the mail. At a boy. Yeah, Bliss has got the open there. Bliss knows what's up.
For fuck's sakes, man.
It's dried paint
Like,
pieces. Damn. Okay.
fair. That makes sense.
That's fresh, man. Damn, that is fresh.
But
I love that. With the clear too, you know what I mean? Like, let's really highlight it.
brilliant. I
It really
hate
is,
that I'm
dude.
saying that, but brilliant. And then 193 followers.
Disgusting, right? And you know that that'll change over time, but
Oh yeah.
sometimes the growth is so small, dude. I was looking at some of our friends that we know a little bit better, and we're looking at some of their accounts, and it's just disgusting how low, and and I think that's why it's important to always share people's work and just kind of get the word out there, man. But there's some amazing accounts out there that don't even have 500 followers, dude. It's just stupid. It's a crying shame that more people don't know about it. And you're right. Somebody said earlier that I think it was Bliss who earlier said that it seems like IG is almost hiding it sometimes. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, man. I think that I don't know. I could speculate all day on what the reason is, but it's not shown enough. And what I really don't like, this thing really pissed me off the other day, is I got a note from them, right, saying, you know, get the blue check mark, which I'm sure there's a fee for that, right? Get the blue check mark, and your reel will be shown more. It'll be shown to more accounts. It's like, okay, come on, this is bullshit now. This is bullshit now. It's not supposed to be like that. But it is like that now. It's fucking annoying, dude. I hate that, because they're basically saying, yeah, we can show your stuff more. We have the ability to do it. Pay us and we'll do it. Like, I get it, man. That's business, blah, blah. I've heard all that bullshit, but come on, man. It's fucking, for the people that don't have money to fucking advertise like that. And I'm sure it's not very much, but I mean, fucking A, dude. I don't know.
Zyma was actually saying that the other account they have, that commander account, they're also a Mr. Jago account, but like that account has 25,000. So it's kind of jokes when you actually consider like that staggering difference between the two accounts. If we're going to talk about like algorithm visibility and stuff.
I just got your message, Suki. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to kick that over to Crumbs right now. Crumbs, we can circle back on this later on if you want, man. There's an article on there's an
relief in Asheville.
Yeah, exactly, on Assembly Required, where we can just direct people to it. But it's actually it's an article that has Matt from Assembly Required. He was the one being interviewed in there and kind of talking about the status of Asheville. If you are so inclined to look at that and give it a read, pretty positive. It's a pretty positive article on what's going on there. Assembly Required, by the way, dude, we're talking 9 weeks away. It is right around the corner, man. We got December, we got January, and it's the first week of February. So, yeah, crunch time to make it happen. You want to do another piece?
Yeah, I always want to see your pieces. If you got a piece nearby, pull it up, man.
It's 7:09. We're doing good. I think we covered a lot of ground in an hour. Okay, so let's do this. We'll do. How about?
We think we're crushing it. The gang is like, homies, we can tell you're flying by the fucking seat of your pants. We're just happy to be here.
That we are. But you know what, dude? I really like the fact that we don't have to have a game plan to come in here and chop it up with our friends for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of over the days where we're like, oh, we don't have a guest, blah, 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 blah. It's like, so who cares? Just turn the computer on and fucking talk about toys with your homies.
And I'll admit, and I do this before like every show. I start looking through the saved folder of my own IG account. I start looking through the saved folder of the Toys account. And I start just tossing links up. And as I'm tossing them up, if I miss anything that I didn't see saved, I'll be like, oh, yeah, you know who I saw earlier? Oh, you know what I saw earlier? Every now and then you'll even actually see a comment to somebody's name commenting on something. You're like, oh, Haven't checked their page in a bit. Slide over there, see what they're running up to. It all comes together pretty quick.
It does. It really does, man. And like you said, we could probably even just rely on the chat and take notes off the chat and talk about whatever's going on there. It's actually, these are pieces from Resin Blood. I just talked about these a couple minutes ago, but here's one of them. I don't have the headers with me because I took them out and I displayed them. But this is the one that we just saw, the Bubblicious colorway. Mr. Unnatural.
I know you get this often, but that's fucking way bigger than I expected.
Well, you're right. Yeah, dude. I mean, they're chunky for sure. But look at the stamp on the bottom, dude. I actually, in one of those little videos that we saw that you showed of the guy making these, I think we saw him putting the stamp on the bottom. But yeah, super sick. There's a few of these there. He has this one also in a speed skull, which is also really sick. They look really nice as a set. I just went with this one. Next one that we have, this is another UV that you're not going to be able to see. But that man thing, that's another vinyl. And Eddie has done, man, quite a few vinyls, and he's in the middle of making another one. Bam, super nice. Side to side, there's a scale. They're both chunky pieces. Bam, nice. And then of course Gort. I love this one with the laser coming out of his eye. Super nice. The scale on this one too is probably, I don't know, probably 4.5, something like that, but definitely bigger than I expected, based on what I had seen online. Bam, there it is. Resin Blood Decon is what we have there. Yeah, that was it. I have a Barbarian Rage that we'll show in a little bit because that one also came with a giveaway. Oh man! Oh, so close, so close. I didn't want to jinx it. I
saw the look on your face, and I was like, "Ah, fuck."
Because I was waiting for the line to go off of the microphone where it says that like you're on mute, and I'm just like, "Here it comes," and then you just kept going. I was like, that's okay. That's okay. I think it would be dumb if we made it a whole show without doing it. People would be like, "You guys didn't fuck up. What's going on?"
Right?
Yeah.
Wait till you see that lovely fucking intro, man. If it was an actual live performance, it would have been almost kind of like catching my one foot on the one shoelace as all of a sudden I stumble forward, and as I'm doing a barrel roll, I stand up, my pants have just fallen down, and I'm standing in front of everybody like going back over, I don't know if you personally purposely prepared it this way, but fucking I had the Resin Blood tab up ready next. That's what I was actually going to talk about, because they've actually got a Black Friday sale coming. So on Friday, they're going to be cutting a bunch of the prices they already have on their website, and they're also going to be posting a bunch of their decon leftovers. So keep their eyes peeled. Now, I am incredibly curious. I'm looking at this picture, and it shows that it's balanced, no problem. And obviously, like, I'm not trying to refute anything, but I am blown away. How is this motherfucking figure balanced?
I'll tell you what, man. So the only way that I can explain it is that this piece right here is really light. It does have a little like slight bow in it, but I've had this thing standing since I got it. And I thought for sure what would happen is over time, this would just, go ahead and insert your fucking joke right there. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is, man. I don't know. I mean, it does have this tab that slides in and I think balances out a little bit. But we're on the same page, dude. When I saw it, I was like, how's that going to work? And after all the posts that I saw too, I was still wondering, like, man, how does that work actually? But yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. It works. It balances out great. So yeah, but they're really cool, man. Those gorts. This one actually has a ton of UV on it too, which you can't see. I wonder if there's a way to fix that, man. If you can see UV on there, because God, we've missed some really great shots like that.
I think, unfortunately, that's probably the best way that we'd be able to do it would be to pre-prep. It'd be a matter of having basically some UV pictures that you could send me before the show that I could pull up. Would probably be our best way of capturing something like that. To be honest.
Yeah. Let's go to Pocket Salsa's question, man. I want to know what your answer to the weekly question is. Crumbs and B. Go ahead, man. You want to take that first? You got something you thought about possibly?
I have been chewing on that
Yeah.
as admittedly. Have you chewed on it, or is that why? Do you need a bit more time?
No, I got it, man. I was gonna actually put in the comments that we'll go first, and I was gonna see what
Oh,
the answer was, but and then just kind of post it. But yeah, definitely.
I'll be totally honest, man. I've got a small little musical fun project that's almost done. I've got a
Mm.
work project that's almost done. The biggest thing has probably been the last couple of months, obviously figuring out what the heck was happening up here. And now that that has been pinned, homies, there's no way I can explain how much more the clarity in my brain is this last little bit. Anybody who's like super close to me, there are people who I'd even tell, I'd be like, I'm in a fucking fog. I can't figure it out. I just couldn't beat it, and knowing exactly what was kind of bringing the brain such a relief, such a change, the fact that now I'm like on my A game again, I definitely want to uh, the Toys Alive YouTube page. I feel needs some love. If I'm being 1,000% honest, that's like the next thing on my agenda. I hate that the moment that this video will be done, we have to schedule the next one, or else the link in our Instagram, it currently goes to like the newest one, but unless there's a scheduled newest one, it goes to nowhere. I would love it that that link actually went to like the list of videos, including the next week's, right? Because there's times that unfortunately we don't fire up the schedule of the next week's video right after this is done. And then you guys in the morning click on that link and it brings you to a thing that says there's no videos under this tab. So I don't like that. I want to make sure I migrate those over. And we've actually, B and I have talked a couple times about having a couple different segment videos that I want to actually make sure get like the proper love and attention to kind of breathe some life into them. So admittedly, yeah, I want to, there's some Toys Alive shit that I want to make sure just kind of clean up to get us nice and cozy.
Dude, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. First of all, dude, just for you personally, even though we've never like met in person or hung out in person or anything, dude, I think I know you well enough when something's wrong, right? And no matter whether you're telling me no, everything's peachy, like just in that sentence alone, I can pretty much tell if something's wrong or not. And you can probably do the same with me. I really do think it has been a big change for you in the last couple of weeks, dude. You're very much engaged. You are very into the show. You're on point with stuff. There's a lot going on. I mean, I wish we could just say we turn this thing on and we just kind of surf around Instagram, but it is a lot of fucking work, man. It's a lot of prep work. It's a lot of work during the show. It's a lot of paying attention to a bunch of different things, and you've been on it, dude. And it's been fucking great to see. So congrats on that. And I agree, dude. The YouTube page, holy shit, bro. Like, it's nobody's fault. We just don't have time for it. You know what I mean? It's really nobody's fault. And I'm just as guilty, dude, at where I look at that and I'm like, God, this could be so much better. And I can't, there's so
Slips
much
under the radar.
there. Yeah, I just can't figure out, dude. And I don't have time to research it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, look, people still check in on Thursday nights, but I think the point is to kind of grow it through YouTube as well, and maybe not rely on Instagram so much, and just try to get to as many outlets as we can. So, yeah, for my personally, for me, top of the list has got to be the book, man. I have so much content right now for the book that I just need to organize it and get it together, and then hopefully get that out. And if I can get that out, man, then that would be, I guess the ultimate goal would be to get a table at some place, either with somebody at, the conventions next year. Definitely not assembly required, but maybe towards the end of the year, get that book out there, man. I love it, man. I think it's clean. I think it looks really good. It's got, a lot of people that are in the room right now. Some of those fucking, most of the shots that are on my Instagram page, seeing it all in one tangible thing, I think is kind of cool. So I'm working on the size of it right now. I might have to do some sort of GoFundMe or something like that, man. Something to where I can get the first bit out, depending on how big I make it. But I'd like it to be a nice, substantial coffee book size or a coffee table size book. That would be my number one personally for next year. For the show, man, I want to start really getting into some of these topics that we don't ever talk about. And when I talk about that, I mean, I want to get differing opinions from people, and let's get on the show and let's talk about it, man. We don't have to get on the show and have arguments, but we can get on the show and talk about why you think this or why you think that. And we're not trying to change anybody's minds, but I know that there's a lot of issues out there that people see completely differently on in here. And whether we talk about it in public or not, most of the time we don't. But I hear a lot of different sides from a lot of different people, and everybody's got great points, man. I think that what would really push it along is if we started talking about these things openly and trying to figure out, or maybe at least trying to understand where other people are coming from. To mention, just one, like I've heard a lot of people really down on the American vinyl scene. I don't know why it is. I don't know why it is. And that's why I think it would be good to talk about. I think there's a big difference between, the vinyl scene and the resin scene. I think, one, it's hard to say why that is. I mean, it should all fall under the umbrella of toy art, but it doesn't. And it's stuff we can talk about. Is there reasons for it? I don't know. Is it perception? I don't know. Is perception reality? I don't know. Let's talk about it and find out. But there's a lot of issues out there that I think we could go back and forth on. And then of course, more dope toys, try to cover more as much as we can, try to get out and about, maybe try to, expand our marketing and our reach a little bit more. But it'll happen. It's all in due time, man. I think, we've been doing this for over 2 years. It's not a sprint. That's for sure, man. It's definitely a marathon. We need to try to, Western vinyl reign supreme, Puzzle Panther. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. We're trying to do this for as long as we can. And I think the only way that's going to happen is if we get more people involved and keep doing what we're doing, just kind of keep plugging away. To say that we'd really like to outstretch ourselves and do something dynamic and really crazy, and we're going to commit to going to all these shows and doing all this stuff. Yeah, I'd love to do that. But the reality is it's just, it's all in extra time pretty much. So create more time, I guess, would be another one. But I think what's really exciting is, looking at everybody else's answers in the question yesterday, it looks like we're going to be busy, man. We got a lot of stuff. I mean, you figure even, 10% of the people in there follow through with what they're talking about doing. We're going to have our hands full. We got a lot of stuff to cover. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting to see what everybody does. And then to see people just kind of plugging along, man. There are people that disappear, but when we think about it, right, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. I think there's more coming in than there is going out.
And so much here. One, I can't wait for that coffee table book, man. I think so many of us would have to agree that it's one of those things that there's been kind of hush whispers about for over like a couple of years now. The idea of it being a tangible coffee table thing, totally agree with you. The other thing is that you just touched on with the artists and how much we're gonna have to cover in this year coming. And I'm excited to be able to see all those artists and how they end up growing from the last time we've interviewed them to these new times that we'll end up speaking to them and talking to them. Man, I think we're going to see quite a lot of different growth. Pocket Salsa, wonderful answers. You can always table with me. I feel you finding extra time. You can we say that we would like to see from the show? Can we say what we would like to see from the show?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can you can sound off in the comments if you like. We can even use that as a question for next week. Um,
As if we don't have a suggestion box. That should be something that we should look at actually adding to our URL list, actually, as like a suggestion box of sorts.
yes, dude. We could even
But we
start off. Let's do that, man. Salsa, if you want to put down, or if anybody wants to put down for immediate discussion, I'm more than open to that. But I think that'll be the question for next week. What do you want to see from the show? I guess it would make sense if we did what our viewers wanted us to do. That would somewhat make sense.
I'm not doing it naked though. None of you want to see this scrawny little like
Well,
prepubescent looking body
everybody
underneath
just
here.
ripped up their notes. Can't turn that in. But yeah, suggestions would be awesome, man. It is hard to come up with different segments of the show and be consistent on them and make them a regular thing. I think we have a lot of ideas out there for sure, man. But it's just, we're kind of a interview and fly by the seat of your pants kind of gang. I think, man, we never seem to run out of stuff to talk about. But God dang, if you can imagine us coming in here with segmented stuff and then try to add in all the extra talk, there ain't no fucking way we're doing this in 2 hours.
That's totally legit. Pocket salsa, you actually bring up a great point, man. And I'm with you. B and I have actually been played around a couple of times of introducing segments that might be like how-to segments as well of artists actually doing certain things. But you bring up a great point, man. Whether it be on reviews, interviews, art theory, or even bootleg history, it doesn't have to be long videos. It could just be 5 minute-ish. And you know what? That is actually right up probably both of our alleys. We could probably both nerd out and pop off on things like that. So that's a great response, man, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude. Great one. Great one. And you know what? When I was at Designer Con, the more I walked around, the more I was thinking I need to be doing stuff like that. Interviewing people, doing some one-on-ones. Magnificent Worlds of Toys was out there. They were doing that. They were doing like hardcore interviews. Dude's got his own cameraman and shit like that. I'm standing there with my fucking iPhone. But yeah, you're right, dude. Interviews like that, recorded content so that we don't have to be here every Thursday night and that we don't, I mean, we love it. Trust me. But to have backup material like that, where you can just pop in a thing. I have been discussing with a couple people that are either have time constraints or are out of the country to do recorded interviews with them and then try to play them during the show, which is something we'll probably look at too. Epoch being one of them. He did say he had some time coming up in the near future, so you may see Epoch on here in the next few weeks, which would be super, super sick.
Garden Noir brought up a good point that I think is funny because earlier I mentioned I was going to bring up the fact that if you hadn't shown up today, I probably could have, with this crew in the chat, been like, yo, if anybody wants to pop in, let me know. I'll banter for as long as I can, but hop on the link. And I bet you we would have a handful of the homies hop in just to talk toys, man. That's what's kind of sick about the chat crew that ends up gathering here. And talking about a couple of different things. One, this is going to fit into bootleg toy history and also one-offs. Two cool things in my opinion. So one, the first one off here is this probably like one of the coolest pieces of my collection, to be honest, and it doesn't get a lot of love. This is when I first started black and white pieces for the collection, and one of the artists I reached out to would have been, of course, Titty Bean Toys. And what makes this piece, in my opinion, so sick is leave it to fucking Titty Bean. Then when I mentioned to him I wanted a black piece with the white on the arms and legs, they ended up actually casting the white into the boots and the gloves and then casting the fucking black in afterwards in hopes of trying to get it just like perfectly divided like that. So that's actually two separate pours to get that frank.
Yeah.
And then leave it to Titty, man, because again, this episode is going to be like things we're thankful for, and I can go on and on about these things. But one of the first times Titty Bean actually did a DKE release, I had actually asked them, hey, I know you're doing a drop for DKE, and I know that you actually have the amount that you need to do for them. Is there any chance that I could maybe actually commission just a black and white one? And so I actually have one of the only like maintenance buys instant skill modes, and on the back it's actually a one of half instead of being a one of one. Apparently this is a one of half, and this would be the only one that was actually made that didn't end up going over to the DKE selection, which in my opinion is a very rare thing to happen. Typically if an artist does a collaboration with Double Ret DKE, they send him the run of figures and they've worked a deal of how that will work out. It wasn't anything to do with the money or anything. It was, I wanted a fucking black and white. instant gill mode from the old Titty Bean.
Yo, that's
Anybody has ever been a fan of Titty Bean, that dude at one point had one of the most insane Patreons ever. It was definitely one of the most beneficial Patreons to the consumer. And the fact that that dude somehow didn't burn the fuck out running that thing is wild to me. Like, dude, do you remember those boxes you'd get where like the amount of figures that be in there?
15. I mean, you open a box from Titty Bean and there's 15 pieces in there, and I mean, yeah, dude. I would say for Patreon, the model that he had was great. The tiers were great. It made sense. It was, he redid it a couple times. He added some. He took some stuff away. He was always working on it, making it better. And even right now, it's not even officially dead, right? It's just on pause for a while. So I think it's coming back because he had made a post on there recently about some new figures that he was working on, which is very, very exciting, dude. That's a very, very cool Patreon to be a part of. Yes, bro, that's what I'm saying. Yes, 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 all of that. All of that's such a treat, dude. See that sitting on your porch and you're just like, oh boy, this is gonna take a while to get through, man. But I mean, I even open boxes of them on the show, and they just keep going and going and going. You're like, damn, dude, how many figures did you get? It's like, man, that's 3 months worth, dude. But it makes sense from Australia, right?
Well, and that was something that I always actually thought was really smart of them, and it must have been a pain in the ass. So again, very customer service of them when you could do a build a box. One of those things where it's kind of like, yeah, homie, the shipping in Australia kind of bites. I see that you've got some figures right now, but I also know you're going to drop some heat the moment that box arrives that I'm going to want.
Yeah.
Any chance we can maybe just keep that box open at your place for a little bit? While you're running off, I'm gonna share I'm gonna share some tabby doos here.
Yeah.
We'll cover that area. Now, any of you who, and again, this kind of goes back to toy history, in my opinion. So, any of you who haven't grabbed a Garden State Kaiju, they actually still have some of these guys available from last week's drop. They've got some of the evil version with the red eyes for their mud bellies available. But for those of you who don't know, actually, and they did a brilliant post on it not too far back with the Geddes on the, um, my goodness, Tam Tam sculpt. So Geddes actually ended up being the one to sculpt the mud bellies for them. And then this piece actually ended up going over to Paul Kaiju for tooling. And so, of course, like those of you who know both of those artists' work, that's quite the collaboration to be able to have your hands on. And if I'm not mistaken, even getting the mud belly up and done was actually originally part of like a Kickstarter campaign that they were running as well. And then, of course, if we're gonna be talking about dudes who fucking go back to art toy history, Kerfloss, man, the work that fucking Kerfloss and what do you might want to call them, Death and Strawberries, my goodness, brain gapping all over, that they've put into re-bringing to life a bunch of the wax shit, my freaking goodness, that stuff is definitely insane to me. The even right beside me right now, I've got 3 different bags of wax from Death and Strawberries. I'm chilling with one of the Kenner waxes. I'm chilling with the hard, as well as the fixed. I've got a blonde. I'm gonna have to bug him for what this one is. I think this one's actually gonna be. I'm not gonna chime in. I know nothing, but fuck. And Kerfloss is on a freaking roll lately. It almost like I don't know if it was just being at Decon got their butt just fucking going hard, but they've got multiple sculpts at the moment. I don't know if you guys have been watching those lives they've been doing. And then on top of that, behind closed doors, I've actually been rallying up a bunch of fucking, what do they call them? Boot stomper bosks? Stomping. I won't lie, guys. I'm not really big into the goth scene, so I don't necessarily know. But I think is it boot stomping? You guys will let me know how incorrect I am. If you like toy stuff, but you don't get enough of it, and my goodness, man, I was talking about 4T, how that dude's just fucking a wild man. Yeah, 4T, the wild man. For those of you who don't watch Toy Surprise but need more toy goodness, hop on over to Toy Surprise, man. Absolutely a fun as hell show. It's got your buddy LM9 on there as well as Mysterion. It's just fucking fun, man. They go through certain commercial toys, indie toys. Your buddy Dre has actually been brought up on there a couple of times. Love it.
Yeah, very nice.
Getting into some under 300 accounts. You seen this Empire Grotesque?
I have not.
Like, the fuck's going on here? How is this chilling at like fucking 200 some?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's all resin? Is it? What is that?
I think this is all resin.
Damn.
That's a lot of resin.
Dude, the number of people that are doing that. Oh, shit.
So I remember we pulled these up during the Never Have I Ever show.
Yeah. Right on point. Pockets also says Empire Grotesque was in the Never Have I Ever show. Pocket, if you could do me a favor, dude, and those ideas that you have, if you could shoot those over to me, man, so I can add those to the notes. The one that you said about the video, and then also low cutting to do the music. That's a great idea, dude. If you could shoot those over to me, man, I definitely want to follow up on those.
And then, of course, we missed Erna Giacomo when we were doing the Shrek show. And I thought this was fucking an impressive as hell piece.
Oh, dude, I was going to say, do they open? Oh, my God, nesting dolls, dude. That is so cool.
Are you kidding? Like, come on.
Jesus Christ, who does that?
3D modeled, printed, painted by me. Yes, I am. I made 4 different Shrek. I hate myself.
That is awesome, man.
But my goodness, the little bottom one just screaming, crying, like.
That's funny.
But fuck, man, 554. And like even this prime example of like when something is completely in one piece, crazy how it just kind of comes together. Right, Jazz? Yeah. We all need some nesting dolls. Now, this is one actually that even came up in the comments as well. I think it was Neckrath was talking about Turkey, going to Turkey and meeting more other artists. It might have been Puzzled Panther. My tiny smooth brain might be missing it. But another prime example of, and this came up on DKE when we had Dove on. Oh, it's crazy to me. 212 followers. Brilliant. Like Sergeant Wise, the first of one of 3 toys I made for a soft vinyl toy series Kickstarter campaign, a concept I designed under my graduation project. It's like, yeah, if you guys didn't clue in yet, Kickstarters, Patreons, project funding, collaborations, vinyl. That seems to be the focal points of tonight's episode.
Yeah.
But this is a great example. I'm like, I look at this body, and I was looking at it earlier, and I'm like, it's not all the same, but it's just enough that if you had $1, yeah, you're just making minute differences, changing up the head, changing up the details on your buck's front visage. I don't really know what to say it on the model. Just brilliant, man. And even if you look back at some of these pieces that they have, just fucking rad as hell. Right, Suki? Clean as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, tried showing your comment, but and even this thing, man, so simple, so dope.
Yeah.
Whenever you masturbate, think of me. It's like, oh, I will. Don't you worry. Mr. Palpatine with fucking guts for a face. Collage on wood. This artist is definitely intriguing, man. And then even this is a great idea to me. Making the head of the HC guy made me think, why shouldn't I just scale it up and make heads like Mad Balls and horror heads? I made the head of Virgin Mary from it as well. It's like, what the fuck? Fun, man. I like that they're already thinking of like the next project ahead the whole time. And that brings us over to Skull Spitter, which was brought up actually in the chat there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Right?
Great colors on that shit.
That was instantly like the moment that you guys brought it up, pulled up the tab, was looking at it, and I'm like, damn, yeah. Very fun.
Nice.
And like, what the fuck? The next FTB collection drops in a week, and I have to make room for the new stuff.
Yeah.
Smart with those exclusive drops too. Dude, that's fucking rad.
Up there. Oh, that's cool.
Some stickies with the toy. Dude's fucking thinking ahead.
For sure.
Oof,
Damn.
that's a fucking dope pour.
Yeah, that is cool. I like
And
that.
then, honestly, man, if we're gonna be talking about just rad as fuck toys, this Sycamore piece is. ah, we've talked about them a couple of times, and I love the fact that like this is the latest creation. They did a post actually about this figure and how it's kind of been in like how it's kind of like the final form of something they've been working on for a while, and that's just exciting for me, man. Because if anybody is actually, if you look down their page, we've actually seen several iterations of that type of figure from them.
Yeah. Puzzled Panther says, I bet a bunch of us go from Toys Alive episode to a shopping cart. I hope so. I think that's part of it is to get that out there, dude. But I would say I would put buy Sycamore pieces on my schedule for 2025, man. I don't have any,
100%.
and everything that dude does is just it's dope, man. It is really dope.
So this right here, my favorite figure at the moment, that's for sure. If you know my work, then you know I've been working around this concept for a while. Toy Soul, Blister, Blister Master, and now Blister Monster. The ultimate concept, the meta toy I was always looking for. I hope you like it as much as I do. It's like, dude, there's something about their work that is just, I don't really know even how to put my finger on it, man.
Yeah.
It's just next level. And then we might have even actually showed it before. I think it's the next one here. Yeah. If we're gonna be talking about dudes pushing the boundary with like what's considered a toy, indie art, resin, this is a freaking intriguing one to me, man. Apes art. Now, of course, if any of you remember like the TMNT movie, this is like a nice little nod to that ending, but that rippling effect even on the top, the little bit of gravelly sand. This thing is fucking one of those things I feel like so many people would be like, oh, that's easy, but at the same time miss how fucking just absolutely stupid it is. The clarity, the no bubbles, the slight tinting that looks almost like the fucking beach glass versus actually just being completely translucent. Oh, brilliant piece, man,
Yeah,
in my
that is
opinion.
sick.
And definitely just transcends that whole idea of like, is it a toy? Is it art? Is it resin art? Is it a resin toy? This thing's fucking just cool as hell, in my opinion. I wish our scene had a Vandalay Industries considering shipping rates.
Bro, that is the name of one of my fantasy football teams, Puzzled Panther. Vandalay Industries. That is George's make believe company on Seinfeld. My other team, you guessed it, Del Boca Vista.
If anybody's looking to order from Baba Drock, I wanted to make sure that we pointed out that they are actually going to be shutting down the store that they've got. So hit them up in the IG DMs or comment claim on posts they've done. Take a look through their store. There's tons of great shit on there all the time. But I just wanted to give you a little heads up before placing it through there. They're going through some frustrations with their current company changing up how they do payments. So just hit them up in the DMs and they'd be happy to get you all sorted out. Now, this is actually what I was talking about earlier about people, again, if this whole end section is kind of like artists pushing the boundary at the moment. Today's Aaron, man. This dude is so bizarrely interesting and like impressive and just strange.
Yeah.
Their art is actually enamel and hot glue.
That's wild.
And I just, like, if we're going to talk about people experimenting and pushing the boundaries of what the hell we're looking at typically.
Yeah.
Today's Aaron definitely is doing that. And I mean, no disrespect whatsoever.
You know what's funny, dude, is like you look at that and you go, oh, it looks like a little kid did that. And then you go, well, how the fuck did the little kid do that, though, man? That's a trip. That's dope.
They've got these ones, and of course, that's why I was kind of scrolling down here, but it's all about movement and like their attempts of capturing movement oh, from a music video that's out there. And it's like, yeah, oddly enough, that's just, in my opinion, it's just brilliant, man. I know that sounds maybe silly to some, but the exploration into that is just really fun to me. I just find that really intriguing.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of fun.
it's right up there with Camelbot Commander, right? You know what I mean? You look at it and you're just like, what the fuck is that? And you don't mean it in any negative way at all. You know what I mean? It's like
It's just beyond what we typically see.
Look, I was gonna say, look at that wild shit.
And it's like I couldn't fathom trying to paint this, to be honest with you. It's fearless. Yeah, Puzzle Panther. Great way of actually putting it. 100%. Absolutely. And like a lot of this stuff was amazing. Is like, you're going to tell me this wouldn't have fit into the WWF show?
Straight up.
Like,
yeah, I agree on that.
Beyond that, to be honest with you, the last one I've got really in my folder here is going to be Retro Zone Neon. Now I know that we've talked about this artist quite a few times. I think we've even brought them in, but they're one that somehow floats under that 1,000, and yet killer work, man.
Yeah, formerly Jesse Sketches.
Yes.
But yeah, he's been around. Oh man, those dudes right there. Can you scroll up to the top left? Yes, those guys too. Yep. So the pink and green in the top left. Go that same screen that you were just on. That one where you had the lineup of the figures. There was. There you go.
I know nothing.
Yeah,
this dude right here.
Yes. So not exactly. Yeah. So we gave that one away on the show.
Oh, jeez.
And then the number 7, I have number 7 as well. I bought 7 and 1 at the same time, but 7, dude, the glow on that thing, stupid. It is stupid. It's one of those ones. I don't have very many pieces like that, dude. But once you get them glowing like at their max, you can't take a picture of it because it looks like a big fucking glowing blob. Titty Bean has some pieces like that. But yeah, that's a dope figure, man. I love that one.
Oh,
Exterminator droid. Yeah, sick.
Clean, smooth packaging. All right. Hey, you got anything you wanted to show off over there before we hop into the giveaway? Let these yahoos go home.
Yes, just a couple things here. Somebody was talking about favorite pieces earlier. There's no way I can tell anybody what my favorite piece is. I have no clue. I really don't. As I glance across the room real quick, I did pick up this one right here. This is the Tila from Hurt Toys. This one was given to me as a birthday present a couple years ago, which is one reason that I like it. The paint and the pour on here is just absolutely phenomenal. It's got that rough or that raw porcelain type feel to it. The ball right here, he casted this separately. Actually, he did the whole staff and ball in glow, and then painted the black and the white on here. But this is a super sick one, magnetically articulated in the arm, static on everything else. But the work on that, the details on the paint, fucking nuts, man. So if you had to say a favorite piece, that one would be up there. The other one that I just grabbed because I was over at the Hurt Toys case is the Beastman Flocked, the double Beastman Flocked. It's got soft goods here. It's got like magnets in the shoulder. So these, you can put the pads back on. The axe, I believe, is from a Spawn toy. But this is all flocked and then painted. And the work on there, again, is just fucking phenomenal, dude. I think, the stuff that he does is super sick. This one, I believe this one was in a show, maybe an early Apocalyptico show or something. But this one's super sick. Like I said, the soft goods with the leather strap right there. Bam. It is magnetically articulated in the arms as well. Bam. Hurt Toys Double Beast Man. There you go. I got a couple more things to show from Decon that I can get through quite quickly. What you think there, buddy?
Take your time, dude. I'm down. I was kind of hoping you'd had some goodies from Decon originally, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I sure do. Super terrible. Happy Thanksgiving, my dude. What is going on? Okay, so
Brilliant team, and feel free to join, man. If you wanted to still enter, just feel free. But you're on the hotspot though. You gotta enter your reply into the chat, and
yeah,
I'll assign you a number.
Yeah, brilliant team, and get in there. So this what I got next is the collab that we kept on talking about, the Death and Strawberries Phantom Lake collab piece. This was the figure. DNS did a great job of kind of documenting his figure here. The way this is all 100% original, Cape by the Cape Master. But it's a beauty of a piece, man. Really nice feel to it. It is articulated in the arms and in the legs.
Come to think of it, have we seen any? I'm just thinking of it now. Like, have we seen anybody do a full 3.5775 besides Kerfloss from like?
There's a couple of them out there. Pikmin is one. I have a Pikmin figure.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm a crazy person. Yeah, Pikmin, and actually, now that you mention it, C is for Creature. That phenomenal Canadian artist, they did as well. I'm just gonna shush my boosh, but yeah.
Oh, all good. But yeah, the backer. I mean, from Phantom Lake. I mean, dude. Phantom Lake style, bro. It's off the charts, man. And then it also came with this. There was a couple of other little pieces with the main piece. Those two both go in the package. I just don't. I don't want them smashing around with each other. And then Phantom Lake has got the dopest stickers. And then these other prints. I got to go get frames for these, but I am going to frame these. But like, check that shit out, dude. Castle Battle. Fantasy Warlords Castle Battle. That is dope. That came with it from Phantom Lake.
Phantom Lake fucking crushed that, man.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And then this one, check this one out. This one's even doper. Bam. That one right there. So I'm going to frame that bad boy too. But that's, it's even got stuff on the other side. Phantom Lake, if you have anything from Phantom Lake as far as the packaging goes, you know it's all that got that same look and feel to it, along with the neon stickers. It's just a super, super sick piece altogether. It's a great collab. It's the first collab that I have from them, but you know, you can guarantee that anything DT O'Keefe gets his hands on as far as packaging or prints, man, that shit's going to be top shelf, and it is. Next on the list is, how about this one, man? I did do a little video on this one. I did do a little video on this one, and thanks to everybody who reached out and asked me if I was doing okay after this post, because I guess it was a little bit, I don't know if it was morbid or what, but it was more about the piece than it was with anything. But this is from DLL Customs from Derek Loglog. This was a piece that I bought. It was in the DKE shop for a while. And I think there may be one more in there, but this was a series of 4. It's a peace dove. And of course, there's a story behind it. If you're familiar with any of DLL Customs work, you know, I think he's very open about it. He lost a very close friend when he was I would say in his early 20s, I believe. So a lot of his work is based off of her and kind of tributes to her. This just happened to be another one. And I thought this was it's a great piece. The pour on it is just absolutely wild, man. It is super sick. It's a large, chunky piece, solid resin. But just, I mean, clean as all get out, dude. It's just so damn nice. Anyways, I did a reel on this one. Oh, nice deal. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. There's a lot of stuff in there too. And then this is the artwork piece that it came with. It's called Gold Morning 1969 is the name of the piece, and the name of this piece of art here. This is just on a thick style right there. I believe the guy who did this, his name was Vinny Fiorello, and I couldn't find him on Instagram, but it came with this as well. So that's very cool, Derek Loglog. If you're looking for anything, jump in there. He's got a really cool sale going on at midnight tonight. No, not masonite. It's more of like a thick backer board, almost like a cardboard, but like maybe pressed or something like that. It's really cool.
Well, then it also looks like they might have done a clear coat of resin over the top of it with the amount of how high gloss that is.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think there is, but you're right. It is super glossy. It is super glossy. And I should have asked him how he made it, but anyways, Derek Loglog. You know, the other thing about Derek, man, is that he gives out little personal pieces with his stuff. He kind of goes around and hands them out. I thought this one was very cool, man, just because of the story behind it. This one he gave me, and it's a compass. And it was a compass that his mother gave him so he could always find her, which I thought was touching. And he made a little resin piece out of it. He was handing these out, so that was very cool. And he will have stuff like that on sale tonight at his Black Friday sale. Next one that we got is the Chum from Pocket Sizzle and Toys on Tap. Somebody else posted this same one, the blue and white marble. I thought that was cool. But man, great piece. Great freaking piece. Vinyl. You know what, dude? I feel like this is like a hometown vinyl. You know what I mean? Like it's a dude that was in the resin scene. And then he said, I wanted to start doing vinyl. And then he started doing vinyl. And what I think is funny, after talking to Pocket Salsa and just kind of see the process of how that's been done and talking to other people that do vinyl. And this is one of the topics I'd love to get into next year, dude. I'll be honest with you. There's some fucking haters out there. And I think it's funny because they say that, you know, he hasn't put in the time or hasn't done this or hasn't done that. And I said, well, fact of the matter is, you got a vinyl that was thought up and done and produced and is selling, and probably in faster time than those guys can probably do it. And I just want to have a discussion about it. You know what I mean? Like, why is there a problem with somebody finding a fast track to something like that? He's not cheating in any way. The only thing that's going on with this is that it's not hand sculpted. And so what? It is sculpted from nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so do you remember Dr. Plops though?
Yeah.
So that was, well, they do a lot of stuff with plastic pizza.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab it because they kind of did the same thing, man. They quote unquote fast tracked it, and they had to take a lot of hits for some reason. They ended up making this guy, the Blob, and they kind of came out of nowhere, and they released this, and instantly a bunch of the toy dudes that do vinyl were just kind of haters about it.
Yeah.
Brilliant Demon, yeah, you're groovy, man. I appreciate that. I will really populate it there. But yeah, man, we'll definitely toss you into the giveaway there to make sure you get a nice little bundle from DKE. I see it popping up in the notifications. But hell yeah, man.
The other part of this, so that's super dope. But the other part of it, man, is that Abe was generous enough to give us one of the brown chums as a giveaway. So we'll do this in the next couple of weeks and try to keep the sales going on this thing. I don't think it's going to need our help at all, but it's cool, man. It's but you know what's funny? Here's something that I will say. Yeah, I agree, 100%. And that's the thing. We'll cover it all. We love it all. We don't care who made it, how they made it. If you made it and you're part of the scene or whatever, we want to talk to you, or we want to at least talk about your pieces. What's funny is some of the same people that had said those things, I had those questions about this vinyl. At the end of the conversation, it is dope though. And I'm like, that's what matters. That's what matters, man. You got to figure there's so many more people outside of our community that we're trying to bring in. And the majority of people from the outside that are looking in at this, they walk by a table and they see this and they're like, dope, I'm going to buy that. I guarantee you, maybe 1% of them is saying, well, I wonder what his process was to make that. I wonder if he, has been doing it for X amount of years. They don't care, man. On that
Well,
level, they don't care. It's not a community thing at that point.
no,
It's like you're marketing to people who don't give a fuck about that shit, to be honest with you. You know what I
he
mean?
hit the mark. Like the reality is like he hit the mark on a great idea.
Yeah.
People are loving it. It's catching attention. People enjoy it. One thing I love is like I'll admit, man, the jointing where it is just brilliant to me. It's efficient. That's the best way I can almost put it. Because I don't know. I like versatility. I like finger puppets and everything. That's great as well. But there is something about a piece like that being jointed in the way that it is. It just opens up a
Yeah.
whole other world of options. And honestly, the colorways come out great, dude. That blue and white marbling one that you have, the fact that it's got the glow in the dark in there is fucking sharp, homie.
It also says he's not worried about what anyone says. Yeah, and as passive as you want to be on it, man. I mean, I think that's a great mindset to have. The fact of the matter is that why is there an issue in the first place? And that's what I kind of want to get to the bottom to. Is why is it an issue? Is there something that we're missing here? Are we not being respectful in some way? What's going on, dude? I think that's all BS if that's kind of what the answer is. But yeah, and it's affordable and it's it's a banger. It's a cool little piece, man. It's anyway, so we got the brown one to give away in the next few weeks. That'll be super awesome. What you saw on the bottom of the feet there, pocket salsa, PS, super cool. And the last piece that I have is the Necrovenger from Barbarian Rage. I believe me and Abe got the same one. This one is painted, but it's painted by Barbarian Rage. He had a bunch of painted ones there from Maggitarius, which were super sick. But man, look at that guy. This is vinyl. It is articulated. You can see the eye in the middle there. Dope. I went with the kind of greenish and gold colorway there.
Oh, underrated colorway, and that thing looks sexy as hell, man. Such a fucking rad toy.
Doesn't it though, dude? It looks so damn good. I'm actually we're gonna have him on again here pretty soon because he gave me a giveaway of one of these that I'll show here in a second. But yeah, this is a sick one, man. I think that we're going to see a lot more. It's articulated in the waist here too. We're going to see a lot more figures. I had some great conversation with Scott about this piece and kind of where he's going with it. But yeah, Necrovenger, very, very cool. If there's any on his website, go check those out. I saw them in person at Decon, and they're beautiful. All of them are super, super sick. He had a Skeletor colorway, and I think he made quite a few of those, and those sold out. But there's some other ones by Maggitarius and then some other ones from Scott that are very, very nice. He was nice enough to give us a look at that silver chrome one, dude. This is going to be a giveaway on the show here in the next few weeks as well. We're going to try to get all these out by Christmas because there's going to be some killer giveaways in December. But yeah. And this one was actually handpicked by Scott. He said, hey, which one do you want as a giveaway? I said, your choice, big guy. And he said, it's got to be something cool. So he went ahead and gave us that one. And that'll be cool to get out for someone's nice Christmas gift. Yeah, Scott Cherry, man. Yes, Puzzle Panther said the Akashic Records one is sick. Absolutely. There's a bunch of other artists that are doing these pieces as well. And they're all great. They're all super, super nice.
But notice that, like, again, sorry, man, just to be funny, like, yes, those are all beautiful, too. This community is fucking insane. Barbarian Rage, thank you very much for that giveaway piece, man. That's fucking wild of you.
Yeah.
But Puzzle Panther dropping the Akashic. I'm getting fucking.
Yeah.
But back to what I mentioned, man, those names is kind of, you see the same ones pop up. It's fucking jokes to me how that happens, man. Caramel, what's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. When you know, and I know a lot of those guys, I know them well now. I feel like I know Scott well now. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing, when I go and I see him, it's like the, fifth or sixth time that we've met in person. And dude, just always so generous, dude. You could hang down, even though that part of the show was not all that big. When you're in that area with Scott and Eddie and Dove and Resin Blood, and Epoch and Killer Napkins, it's weird, dude. It's like I don't know. Everybody is just always super, super nice, whether it's just conversation or doing whatever. So, yeah, good time. That was Decon 24. How about that? Yeah.
Russell Panther, I'm not sure why, man, but I'm sure you guys are having a fun time.
The State Fair. Well, here's the bad news, Puzzle Panther. It probably wouldn't be the State Fair in California. The State Fair in California is up in Sacramento. It's in the summertime. It's absolutely miserable. It's absolutely miserable. It's overpriced. It's like $7 for a bottle of water. You can kiss my ass. But Scott's down in LA, and I'm sure they have plenty of cool stuff out there. But you're right. Scott's just a cool guy in general. So we'll look forward to having him on the show in the next couple of weeks, more than likely. Next week, Eddie Anaya. How about that one? Eddie Anaya. What was the name of his company, Crumbs? It's not, his company is not under, his account is under Eddie Anaya, but I've met him out at Decon. Speaking of Decon, great guy. That's going to be a very cool interview. I would say he's up in that, definitely carded 3.75s are his specialty. He's been releasing a lot of them about holiday movies and whatnot, classics, 80s that we all love. 80s and 90s stuff, but he'll be on the show next week. The following week will be Super Terrible Toys on December the 12th. That will be a super fun show. After that is the 19th, and I don't know what's up for that week. I'd have to look at the calendar, but December is looking good. January is looking real strong too. So we've got some good shows coming up, some good giveaways, some great guests, of course. More dope toys. Got some stuff in the mail that we'll look forward to getting here in the next few weeks. That punk dude.
Yeah, Puzzle Panther, exactly. No, it took me too long. I'm not gonna lie. I tried pulling up the tab real fast, pulling up that Eddie and Naya, and I was late to the punch. But we ended up pulling up the Scary Movie 2 toy not too long ago. And
Yes.
of course, Super Terrible Toys. For those of you who weren't watching for the Shrek show recently, we actually ended up showing, and B was giving us the rundown, and that big fucking one of those, you know the name of those figures they were rip-offs from or kit bashed from. All Stars?
Starting lineups. Who everybody loves a starting lineup.
Sports.
I need to look at one thing real quick on our post.
Oh, for sure. I dare you to. That being said, I am going to pull up the wheel.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I got the old giveaway goods right here in my hand.
Well, and that's actually it. If you've got the giveaway goods there, if you've got the goods in hand, I'll even actually show that off.
Okay, cool. So the best item this week is the new Toys of Life sticker you see up there in the top right-hand corner.
I would agree.
So there's that. You're going to get all those other stickers you see in there. That one, the Vader piece right below it, is from Attack Peter. That's an awesome. We've given away 3 or 4 of those, and they're always a hit. Regurgitated Ideas actually is, I think, a very funny piece from Killer Bootlegs. You cannot really see it in there, but it's the Han Solo in the carbonite right in the middle of that thing. So Regurgitated Ideas. You get the Invisible Suck Lord piece up there above that. Manly Art Magazine from Jason Chalker right there in the middle. Suck Lord Season 1, the Suck Hour, right there underneath those stickers. That is a digital video disc, kids. So enjoy that. And then a little DKE sticker there in the middle. So a nice fat box. We threw two good ones in there this week with the Attack Peter and Killer Bootleg. So congrats whoever wins that one. And there you go. How many do we get in there this week? Was there a lot?
34.
54?
34. You
34.
54.
I was gonna say, damn, 54. That is a lot.
Yeah, this wasn't your recent OF video. This was our giveaway.
Oh man, you know what's funny though is like you look on that and it says 73 comments, but I forgot that it counts the responses as well. So it's, it counts the actual comments.
I do try. I do try to respond, especially, I mean, you guys take the time to write a comment in there. I do try and actually read the comments and give a reply that shows your comment was read, not just me just regurgitating something I was thinking at the time.
Okay.
You're just quiet over there.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up the numbers.
Yeah, I was just clicking away anyways. I don't know what we're doing.
Because whoever gets it, I want to see what their answer was. Number 4.
Number 4. So number 4 is going to be Stormico Station.
Stormico. Stormico's answer was where you at? These comment things in here, I mean, the way that they dish them out to us.
I love how you were like, well, I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. Right. And then they're like, how prepared do you want to be? How about we deliver them to you not in order? And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I would love that. So I would like to learn how to make amazing molds and sculpt better. So there we go. That's exactly what we were talking about, man. People that don't do something now that want to dive into something later. You know, if I had to guess, based on the way his collection is, his sculpts are probably going to mimic some of that stuff in there. And he's got a sick ass collection. So look forward to seeing that in 25.
A gorgeous collection, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Really nice. Not bad, my friend. 8 hours or 8:11. So 2 hours, 11 minutes. Easy.
Easy. It's almost like we've done this 233 times.
Damn near freestyled it. And you know what? I'm going to say with confidence, this is probably the only show that will ever depict both of us wearing sweaters at the same time.
Fair. I couldn't tell. I could tell yours looked comfy, but is it a sweater?
It is. It is.
It looks so soft.
It is soft. I'll tell you what, it is. I went to my sister's house before this, which was great. I haven't talked to my sister in quite some time, and she lives a couple streets away from me. So that for me was the best part of Thanksgiving, I believe, this year. And yeah. So, anyways, you know, you have family over, you gotta put on Thanksgiving clothes, I guess. Everybody else did, so I was like, shit, I might as well do it too.
Your family and my family do things different.
Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. Like, okay, so I think there were 6 kids there between me and my sister, and the oldest one is like 21. So there wasn't a lot of like fanciness going on here, you know. But you know, my mom shows up and she's dressed up, and I'm just like, oh god, I guess I gotta dress up. So
the chat is all demanding it. They need a Stormico Station collection tour. Honestly, I agree with you. That thing would be fucking dope as hell.
Yes. 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 Collector tours need to come back. I agree. 100%. Then 24, maybe we'll squeeze it in.
We'll get on it, man. You're right. We're lacking. I need to somehow schedule just a constant stream from now until Christmas. It will just be a Yule log burning and B saying over and over again, "Toys alive, toys alive, toys alive."
You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
There won't be any crackling of the log. Just that. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
That is true. You know what? I just remembered Eddie Anaya's name. Eddie Anaya Breakdown Reality. That is the name of his account. We will look forward to seeing him next week.
You didn't remember it. You looked at the chat and you saw fucking Super Terrible Toys drop.
Oh, did he?
Don't try and hide anything now.
Where did he say it? Oh shit! There it is. 8:07.
It's even time stamped, dude.
8:07. Yeah, I did see it. Shit. Okay. Perfect. Oh, and 8:14. Boom. Perfect. Reality breakdown. Cool, man. Well, thanks for jumping on, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for jumping in on Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good one. We celebrated.
I have no idea what's going on my end, but I'm hearing double of everything you're saying now. Am I the only one? Maybe I'm probably the only one. I think that's a great wrapping point.
Puzzle Panther said, "Bless you, thank you." I don't know what happened, dude. My auto's been kind of fucked the last couple of weeks, so I don't know. Sorry. Later, my dude.